Jeff Van Gundy was stolen. That's right. After the Celtics win Banner 18, moments after, consultant in the front office and analyst Jeff Van Gundy was taken by the Clippers to be an assistant head coach. And Brad Stevens and the Celtics, amidst winning a championship, are still having draft workouts today, this afternoon. This Celtics team is pushing for Banner 19, and it could be on the horizons as early as next year. We'll be diving and looking at all this Celtics news on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. If you guys do enjoy the content, hit that like button. Without further ado, let's dive into the topic at hand. First one that we're going to be discussing is Jeff Van Gundy wrong. And like I mentioned in the introduction, he was poached by the Los Angeles Clippers. If you guys want to look at this tweet from Adrian Wojnarowski, we can see that ESPN sources Jeff Van Gundy, who spent this season as a senior consultant for the NBA champion Boston Celtics, has agreed to be a deal to become the lead assistant head coach on Ty Lue's staff of the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, when Van Gundy was let go of ESPN last offseason, it was due to the fact that him and ESPN felt that he could get a coaching job or assistant coaching job in the NBA. Unfortunately for Van Gundy, he was unable to do that, so he became a consultant for the Boston Celtics front office, and that obviously led him to a good coaching job behind the scenes with the Clippers in Ty Lue being the head assistant coach. But ultimately, I think that this is not the greatest news for the Boston Celtics. As we already know, they are losing one of their assistant head coaches in Charles Lee, as he is going to the Charlotte Hornets to be their full-time head coach next season. And Sam Cassell, who was brought in this offseason as another assistant, was being looked at by the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, obviously, they went and hired Darvin Ham, so they won't be going after Sam Cassell. But Sam Cassell could get poached or be looked at by an abundance of teams, like he was looked at as well for the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching job. So ultimately, with losing Charles Lee and with the possibility of losing Sam Cassell in the offseason with winning a championship, you would think that this Celtics team would want to keep their coaching staff intact. I personally thought a guy like Jeff Van Gundy was the perfect shoe-in fill to replace a guy in Charles Lee. Would have been the guy basically saying, hey, you were a consultant last year. You were good enough to be a head coach, assistant head coach, excuse me. We just didn't have a spot or an option for that to be available. So that's why now we're going to bring you on now this year. When Charles Lee is gone, you could be the assistant head coach. You can help us out. But ultimately, that's not how it's going to go for the Boston Celtics, as they will lose Jeff Van Gundy to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, Jeff Van Gundy did have some good things to say on being a Celtics consultant, saying that Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla threw him a lifeline. He learned so much, and he's a lot to embrace there, as he obviously has been a good coach and a good leader, as Brad Stevens as well assembled a great group of coaches and great chemistry together, basically giving the Celtics their flowers and the tip of the cap, which we will do ourselves because, once again, NBA champs, 2024 proved everybody wrong. Best record in the NBA. You want to hate on them. You want to say that they can't do it wrong. Jayson Tatum isn't a superstar. Jaylen Brown's overpaid. Al Horford is too old. Kristaps Porziņģis is injury prone. Jrue Holiday falls asleep in the playoffs. Derrick White is a role player. And look at what you got and what you deserve. The Celtics coming out here proving all the haters wrong, shutting down all the narratives, and winning as a team, winning as a cohesive unit. And that all goes to the credit of Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla at the tip top. Brad Stevens being that executive, winning executive of the year, stapling and, stamping history for the Boston Celtics, doing these crazy changes, bringing in Porziņģis, bringing in Jrue Holiday, moving off of some great depth pieces in Malcolm Brogdon, Marcus Smart, and Robert Williams and Grant Williams to really upgrade this team and really bolster it for a championship. And that is what I love to see. Unfortunately, Jeff Van Gundy is going to be a catalyst. He is going to be leaving with this championship squad, and I'm sure some other guys will too. So we'll have to break down all of that. But with the roster, the main intact roster that played last night will be back, and the Celtics team will be pushing for a championship still in the future. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How do you guys feel about Jeff Van Gundy leaving the Boston Celtics and going to be the Clippers assistant head coach? We wish him the best of luck. I think he'll succeed. I think he'll do great over there in Los Angeles, but I wish he could have done that for us in Boston. Next, Celtics front office is back to work, and like we mentioned, they are no days off for the Boston Celtics. As we look at this tweet from Keith Smith, NBA, Brad Stevens said this following last night's victory that we will enjoy tonight, but the draft workout tomorrow, that should be fun. And as we know, The Celtics are focused on banner 19. Tatum, before he even won this championship, came out and said that if we do win, we will cement ourselves in history, but everyone will say that we beat injured teams and we just have to come back and prove it again next year by beating them. And again, this team is still focused. They are still believing in that because Brad Stevens is getting ready to go to work once again, probably off of no sleep, maybe even an hour or two of a nap possibly, to go there and now watch and get some good draft talent. Adam Himmelsbach has also, kind of confirmed this by telling us that the Celtics are preparing to host a 6-player draft workout at the Auerbach Center today, and almost the entire front office is there. And some of them have not slept at all. Just crazy to think the caffeine that is running through these guys. And as we all know, Celtics last year did have a first round pick. They traded back multiple times in the second round, and they got their guy in Jordan Walsh at pick 38. Now, Jordan Walsh was number 25 on the Celtics big board, and they would have taken him at 25 if he was going to get selected there. But the Celtics had some keen instincts. They knew that teams did not want Jordan Walsh and that he was going to slip on the draft board. So ultimately, Celtics traded back, got multiple seconds for their future to help them out in future trades, which we saw this year, and possibly to help us out facilitate more future trades in the next couple seasons. But ultimately, bringing a guy in, Jordan Walsh, at pick 38 was huge. And we could see the Celtics do something similarly once again here. Just because they are going to look at these guys, particularly low-end first-round talent, doesn't mean that they'll take them in the first round. They could take them in the second round, and that helps the Celtics' flexibility as well with the cap space in signing these new draft guys or rookies as well. Ultimately, the Celtics do have the 30th pick, and Brad Stevens has yet to make a selection in the first round, and I don't see that happening this season at all as well. I do see Brad Stevens trading back, going deeper into the draft, trading into that second day, not making a selection on the first day, and ultimately getting some more draft capital. With using that draft capital, he'll then be able to maybe get another guy like Xavier Tillman, or maybe even another guy like Jaden Springer, who helped out replacing Delano Banton and Lamar Stevens, or even, some of those other guys that we could possibly see to be even better replacements that we don't even know who are on our roster. Brad Stevens could use those second round picks to get that done, or maybe even use some second round picks to move off of a bad contract or something like that in the future. Ultimately, I think it's smart. I think it's the best thing to do, and this team is still going. The team might be the team as a whole, like Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they might be, relaxing on vacation for a little bit, partying in Miami, coming for that parade on Friday. But this front office realizes that they have something in place. They have this new dynasty, and Jayson Tatum is 26 years old. Jaylen Brown is 27 years old. These guys are not getting old. They are getting older, but they're not getting any worse. They're only going to continue to grow. They're only going to get better in this NBA. And I know that this Eastern Conference is getting stronger, but these two are cementing themselves to being the most dominant two-way wings in the NBA and are putting the show on the map for the entire world to see and to respect them. They deserve all the praise that they get, and they should be rewarded when they come back to Boston on Friday. Like we mentioned, the front office still wants to stay aggressive. They still want to bring another championship to this team. They want banner 19, banner 20. So they're already focused on that with working in the draft. Let me know. Do you guys think the Celtics will take a draft pick, or do you guys think they'll trade out of the draft? I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. And lastly, before we head out, not Derrick White extension, excuse me. We got to get to comment of the day. Drop down your comments down below how you guys are feeling about this Celtics team, and you could be featured for comment of the day. Kamar Porter is our comment of the day today, saying also 617 is the perfect date for Boston to win a Beantown championship. Let's go, guys. And Kamar, they did it. They won that championship. They got that done. The Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions, and they have done it at the best possible moment. Boston Celtics fans are fantastic. After 16 long years, the championship is finally here, the well-awaited championship, and everybody can be ecstatic. I want to know how you guys are thinking. I want to know how you guys are feeling. Drop down your thoughts. I am still on this high. It's just absolutely crazy. Barely slept last night. Woke up today. Been checking my phone. Been blowing up. Been retweeting. Doing everything. So if you guys want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this squad, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the links in the description. The Discord, the Twitter. We update everything over there. Make sure to check out the community page, as we'll have an abundance of stuff coming throughout the entire offseason. As you guys know, I'm Bruce Veliz. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics.